Hello everyone and welcome to Gaffrethon. This is the fifth episode. With me I have Myth as usual to do the commentary, and our guest star today is Fire Total. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, doing good.
Very good. Alright, I'm very glad to meet you guys again, and today we have the best route ever in Minish Cap, which is Wirbelhop. So I'm very excited to get into it. But first let's get to know Fire for any of you who might not know him yet, which would be a goddamn shame because he's been there for a long time in the TMC community. So can you introduce yourself, Fire?
So I'm Fire Turtle. I've been speedrunning TMC. Pretty much the only game I really speedrun a lot. And I'm from Luxembourg. That's about it.
Luxembourg, the Holy Land in between Belgium and Germany. Yeah, something around that.
Something like that, yeah.
When did you play TMC for the first time? As a kid, like all of us, I assume?
So I played a little bit as a kid, but it was my brother's game, and he he didn't want me to play.
Oh.
But then I played on the 3DS when it came out, like the Ambassador program, for the first time. And I really liked it on the 3DS.
All right, and then you decided to start running it, or was there some time between you playing it?
I think there was some time in between.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was watching for Mario Sunshine speedruns, and in the chat there was Crow, and somebody mentioned he speedruns something, so I was like, oh, what does he speedrun? And it turns out it was TMC. So I was like, oh, I could do that. That looks easy.
Easy enough.
That's when I started. In 2014, late 2014.
All right, and I assume it was your first speed game then. And
Oh yeah, definitely.
how did you hear about it for the first time? Because it seems that you already knew what speedrunning was when you heard about Kuon Sunshine.
Oh yeah, like a year before that, some Let's Player I was watching on Twitch, like a German one, started speedrunning. That's when I heard about it for the first time. Then I watched like GDQ and all that stuff.
All right, good stuff. And then you said you basically only run TMC, but you've done some runs of other stuff, right? Are there some others that you want to tell us about a little bit?
I speedrun some Kirby and the Amazing Mirror for the Game Boy Advance as well, even
That's
at Gaffrethon.
Indeed, last year.
Yeah, last year, and I played some Link's Awakening for like a week, and Super Meat Boy.
That's true. You joined us on our Super Meat Boy adventure a few years ago.
But very casual, I feel like.
No. All right. So, what are you doing on Twitch currently? You were streaming yesterday. I guess the real question would be, do you intend on grinding some runs again and streaming them? Yes or no?
Since I am playing some TMC, I might as well try Octoclip run and get on the leaderboard again.
All right.
Well, good luck.
Yeah. Good luck to you.
Yeah, definitely need luck.
Now, for this category that you are about to run, so you were running TMC starting on Portal Items maybe, or Flipper Skip maybe?
Legacy route.
Or Legacy even, damn, you're one
of
the...
I did like one in Legacy, and then Portal Items was discovered.
All right. So as you already know this category, that's Wirbelhop or Angle Retention. You were there when it switched from, let's say, Flipper Skip to Wirbelhop, because as we said last year, you were one of the top 4 runners when Bracelet Skip was a real route being used, not widely, but by the top runners. But you actually never ran it, I think, or not seriously. Was there any reason to that?
Which route did I not run seriously, you mean?
Bracelet Skip.
Oh yeah. So I didn't think it was fun that like so late in the run there's a one ending trick. Like it's so easy to fail. It was just not fun for me, so I kept running a
Flipper Skip.
Yeah, basically.
And
until I got that like 144. That's when I kind of stopped until Wirbelhop was found.
Yeah, as we said last year, it was kind of a big performance to be still relevant among the top runners, even though you were kind of playing with a 2 minutes handicapped compared to them who were doing Bracelet Skip. So yeah, maybe kind of a bonus question compared to the others. How did you feel when Angle Retention was a thing and the new route came to be? Because you knew what it was before. Was it a new, like a breath uh, how do I put it? A rush of
Yeah.
fresh air for you?
Oh, I think so, definitely, because the bracelet skip was just so bad before. Then this angle retention was found, and it was like tricks in Cave of Flames.
Yeah.
That before was glitchless. And then this Wirbelhop was so easy to do. At least in Paths of Winds it was easy. It was like, for a moment, like a more difficult trick in Cave of Flames before the current route.
Yeah, we will get to it later during the
Martin-
beginning of the
Martin
game.
just pointed out that today is the 5-year anniversary of your 144 from the
Oh,
Flipper
damn.
Skip route.
Well, it was
Wow.
all planned.
Yeah, definitely planned.
Well,
It's crazy.
5 years.
5 years. Damn.
And today you're about to perform a run that's just as good quality-wise, but with a better route. Just watch out.
Sure, yeah.
All right, one last question, Fire. What do you prefer between waffles and apple pies?
Oh, tough question.
I can't believe it. In thinking about it.
I do like the European apple pie. Nah, waffles all the way. Yeah, waffles.
All right. Thank you very much, Fire. We are gonna switch to the run overlay and we'll start in a few minutes. Stay tuned. And of course, I missed the transition. All right, everything is good. So, whenever you're ready, just let me know and I can start the timer.
I need audio.
And we can see in the title screen that Fire has officially joined the ATX gaming clan. So right now we are 3, Nitros, myself and Fire, all under the leadership of Martin.
So yeah, I think I'm ready.
All right.
So should we reset on start?
I will start the timer after your soft reset. You're good. All right. So first question: are you running on Wii U or on Switch?
I'm running on Switch.
On Switch. All right. So optimal hardware. I see. So
There's a bit of a discussion at the moment whether or not Switch is faster than some of the other versions. Some people think that it is faster because they've been getting some really good enter deep with times that haven't seemed to be quite as possible in previous ones, but there's no concrete timing at the moment. So I don't know. They're all pretty fast. I don't think you can go wrong with picking between the different consoles at the moment.
Mm-hmm. I see. Well, I guess we'll see in the future if someone gets a 950 under Deep Trend, then maybe we'll see that it's quite fast. All right, so Wirbelhop is our road for today. It came out in 2019, I think, in the summer or something. And basically, it's a straight 7-minute time save compared to Flipper Skip. Maybe not Bracelet Skip, no. I think it's compared to Flipper Skip. And the big revolution with that route is basically one trick or one ID that you can keep a diagonal angle stored, so hence the name angle retention, and use it to do some tricks that we'll see later. And the best thing about that route is that it's very easy. So no more very difficult bracelet skip that's killing runs, and it really put everyone back. Like everyone could do that route from the get-go, which is why it was, and it still is, considered one of the best routes for most people who were running at the time. And so, as usual, Fire is doing the 1 rupee manip, which is basically what everyone is doing, because, well, no point in doing the 4 rupee manip, really. So what can we expect of this run, Myth? What's going to be the differences between Flipper/Bracelet Skip and that one?
Yeah, so where were we? We were in 2019, right? We just had the tournament happen at the end of 2018, and like the grand finals happened at the beginning of 2019. And then Toads discovered Octominute in May, and
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we had the GDQ appearance for some SGDQ 2019. Quo ran the Flipper Skip route in June, and we had someone turn up in the Discord called Solidified Gaming, and they decided to have a look at some cool stuff, and they immediately showed that they knew like how to glitch hunt, because they found the guard skip in Castle Town, which turned out to not be useful in this current route, but it's going to turn up later. And then within like a couple weeks, they were messing around with jumping out of holes diagonally, and it's like, oh, we've all known about this thing before. You can have like a mirrored sprite and everything, but it's only a visual bug. But then they decided to actually test on some other things and started pulling pillars, and you could pull the pillars out of bounds. And it's like, oh, this is broken. And then trying to do it with the cane shot in the hole, it's like, okay, this is completely busted. And yeah, it blew open the game, and we could finally do bracelet skip without having to do a cutscene OG, a frame perfect trick in Alice finally became accessible for beginners of the game.
Literally everyone. So yeah, basically a few days, I think, or maybe a week after Quo's run, we heard of all those discoveries, and what it led to was some kind of a middle route where you had the trick in Cable Flames, but in the final room. I actually got the first 143 did that trick, but
the first 143.
I remember that was quite a nice day, and then we found a better way of doing all that. So that was a trick that only was used for like 2 or 3 runs maybe. But yeah, basically Anger Retention let us perform 2 tricks in Cave of Flames, which cuts the dungeon length not in half, but quite a bit, and a new trick in Palace of Winds, which renders the old bracelet skip completely obsolete, and is actually faster on itself, because I'm not even sure that Palace of Winds was faster in bracelet skip than in flipper skip. Maybe it was slightly slower, but skipping the bracelets was better overall, that kind of stuff. But now we are sure that the dungeon is faster, and you don't even have to get the bracelets. But one thing that never changes is the intro, as well as Deeper Shrine. So the only new things we're gonna get are gonna be in Cave of Flames.
Yeah, we're gonna see a masterclass in optimization here from Fire Turtle.
No pressure, but I expect a 9:45 until the Deeper Shrine. He's so focused, he's not even responding. But yeah, I think that's about what we can expect in this, really. Fun fact, I think this is the route where Fire has his current PB, so technically he could PB today.
Yeah, he did a practice yesterday, and it was within 10 seconds of a PB, so we could see a PB happen.
That will be for sure pretty good. But yeah, I don't really know what we can say right now about the rest of the run.
So, one of the so like what happened with like who the top runners at the time of the discovery were Toads, Fire, Black, and Darky. They're all of the people with 144s, and they all very quickly jumped onto this new route and got sub 140s with the new time saves. And the 140 became this like mystical barrier of the top players versus everyone else.
I remember.
It was there was quite a few people who had a 140 and it was just like a couple seconds off. It was you and Semi and PPL.
Yep, and the road to grind for the sub 140 was actually quite long for me. I think I hit my barrier at that point, and but yeah, you could definitely get better times than that with that road. I mean, Vlag's got a 137.38, Toad's got a 138, yeah.
Yeah.
Arky, I don't remember, probably 138 as well. That was the time where I started to be less active. Fryer got a 139, and so on. So
Yeah.
Also, another interesting thing to note about that route is that, okay, we got new tricks, but it's not all we got. We also got one very infamous Kinso manip that we call Quad that came up more or less at that time, which I want to say it's kind of the time where people started to really focus on what can we manip, well, how can we do things that might be very hard but also very optimal, very much faster than before. And with those, like, you could have done the quad manip on the polar items route if you really wanted to, because when I like to say that you discover glitches but you make up manips. So Toads made up a manip that works for auto fast cycle, Black made one for one manip, and it's also at that time that manip became more widely used, I want to say, more mainstream maybe.
Yeah, seeing as there wasn't a hard trick that ended your runs, it was so likely that people would get runs to Vati, so having it all become kind of a coin toss at the end to if Vati was going to be nice to you and give you good RNG kind of became a bit of a waste of time to do an entire run just to rely on that. So getting a manipulation that it becomes entirely execution based instead of luck based, it was really important.
Yeah, and even if we are only talking about, like, I don't know, 15-20 seconds time roll that is purely RNG, 955, really good by the way, it was still nice. A big deal when you are pushing for the last 10, 15, 20 seconds that you can get, be it at my level to get a sub 140 or at Black's level to get a 137.
Yeah, and it was only it was in a very short period of time of in 2019 where after the trick was not just discovered, but a month or so had gone by and people had refined it and figured out the best ways of doing it. Not just doing the Wirbelhop strat in the second half of Cave of Flames, but being able to do an angle retention in several rooms prior to be able to do the boss key skip in Cave of Flames by Toads. Like, when all of those things got discovered, then people could start, like, the route was solidified and people could really start trying to work on optimization. And we have Vlak's 137.38, which is one of those runs that is very iconic in the history of Minish Cap. Is very much like Fire's 144 and Toad's 151. Oh, sorry, 152.52.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a kind of run that stood for a long time. I guess Fire's run was not a world record, but it was the best run on Flipper Skip forever. I mean, nobody really managed to beat that.
Yeah, it was just one of those runs that was like, this is the benchmark of human achievement at the moment in what we know of the game, and it's almost impossible to improve until new things get discovered.
Impossible or very hard, and you will have to grind to get better by 5 seconds, and nobody really has time to do that. Who are we? People running Super Mario 64? I don't think so. But anyway,
SMB1 trying to save frames.
Yeah, I'm gonna save 3 frames and make a YouTube video about it.
So imagine a bus.
But alright, so quickly about that dungeon, in case you don't really know it, it's the first dungeon of the game, and it's a kind of a tutorial dungeon, which is why Eslo interrupts you every couple rooms to explain to you that you can pull all over, that you can walk on some
amazing
buttons. Yeah, very good RNG there. And one thing that you do not want to do is roll just before an Ezlo trigger, because if you do, you're basically gonna lose 1 full second. And if you want more details about that, check the VODs. Myth explained it very well a few videos ago. I'm not gonna say
Shall we go
which
for
one.
fifth explanation of this?
Yeah.
So there's a 30 frame timer. No, sorry, a 60 frame timer. 60 frames is the how long a second takes in this game because it runs at 60 frames per second. So there's a 60 frame timer when you interact with the Ezlo trigger before it then starts the animation, and then it does another 60 frame timer before it then opens the text box. And for some reason, when we walk into an Ezlo trigger, it skips the first one. But if you roll into it, it correctly waits for the full length of those timers. So rolling into an Ezlo trigger is the correct way of doing it, and walking into it is a glitch and should be banned and glitchless.
Technically, yeah. Alright, in between that, Fire got a pretty bad RNG on the mini-boss on Mother Pillar, but that's alright. And now it's the best part of Debrief Shrine, the lily pad section. So far so good. This pesto is not gonna be in the way, but it's probably gonna kill it anyway. Alright. So far so good.
Yeah, this is a really tricky section of having to move the lily pad around, counting your gust blasts, and really kind of having to react to the RNG that the pestos give you, make sure that they don't knock you off the lily pad.
Yeah, and especially since pressing, in this case A, to use a Gaja, it's kind of a big commitment. You're committed for like, I don't know, half a second maybe, so you need to be sure that you can do it safely or gamble, which is what we do most of the time, I feel like. Alright.
Yeah, sometimes you can see an enemy in the way and be like, oh, in order to dodge them, it would cost so much time that it's almost worth trying to just go at them and hope that they don't hit you.
Yep, which doesn't happen most of the time, unfortunately. Alright, we are almost through with Debrief Shrine, and we're gonna face the first boss, the big Chew, which is a simple Chew, but since we are in a Minish, the boss becomes quite a threat, and the only way to kill it is use, well, the Gaja, the item we got in the dungeon, to suck up his foot and then whack him till death when he falls. In that regard, this is kind of a old school Zelda game where you do a dungeon, you get a new item, you do that item in the second half of the dungeon. We say it all the time, but I feel like it's worth mentioning. Alright.
Gonna see if they're gonna get a one jump here or if it's gonna do multiple jumps. Ooh, very nice.
That's a charge. Good RNG on the boss at least. I think it's at least 3 seconds or something, which might not seem like much, but it's really something. And here we're gonna get a very good Earth Element time. 17:14. I wish I could have that kind of time on my items.
Yeah, oh my god, that's amazing.
That's just the Nintendo Switch.
Time save, yeah. And I mean, the thing is that we even noticed that Fire got some bad RNG on Mother Pillar on the lily pad section and still got that good of a time, which really goes to show how optimized and clean his execution is based on movement. Alright, and now that we got the first element, we're gonna go to Cave of Flames, and to do that we have to climb Chronal, and that is still the time where, well, it's kind of boring, but I think it's gonna stay boring until the end of times, really.
Yeah, there's some ideas that came about in this period of time. Solidified was looking into some other things as well, and they figured out that rock beetles are really broken in this game, and they were messing around with the rock beetles that we're going to see in the next screen, and they managed to get them to like stack on top of each other and push one of them out of bounds so that it sat down and deleted the edge of the screen. And there's some hopes that it could have led to being able to get out of bounds in this section and do something like go to the witch's hut early and get the mushroom before the boot section, and that could save a bunch of time in the boot section. But yeah, there's still ideas at the moment and nothing that actually works.
Yeah, although the idea of using a rock beetle to delete some loading zone is something that probably gave him some ideas to do. Well, for a trick in Cave of Flames, simple as that. That we actually are going to see very soon. Well, very soon, in like 20 minutes. But yeah, as Smith said earlier, guard skip was known, and so technically you could not learn spin attack right now and go through, but it was really not worth it. And I mean, even in the later routes where guard skip is used, not learning spin attack is not worth it because you need it to clone, you need it to do a bunch of other stuff probably, and you're better off learning it now because it's fast and it's going to be useful for the rest of the run.
Yeah, it's also even if you get the spin attack and then still want to do the guard skip, it's still slower because you have to we have to come back through this area later on after we do Cave of Flames.
Yeah.
You would have to do two guard skips, and that's slower than just talking to the guard once.
If only we could not have to clone on that on those tiles right on the left.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll see that someday.
Hopefully. Alright, so far so good. I think Fire got a roll lift on that cave. And we are in Mount Chronal.
First try watering the bean.
Always. That's where you know he's a top runner. He got it first try.
Interesting strat.
Very nice, yeah.
I'm assuming the timing's all set up perfectly so you can't shrink too early.
I'm not sure. I always time it.
Yeah, I think it just looks cooler. That room is a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's alright, go through. Now Fire just has to be careful not to drop his radioactive water into the ground.
Yeah, Chronal as a whole is just a section of lots of enemies that can get in the way at any moment. It's just a case of hoping the RNG isn't awful to you, and if it's only just a little bit bad, figuring out the best movement to avoid taking damage.
Exactly that, and optimizing your menuing. There isn't too much of it, but that's something you have to work on the whole run anyway.
Absolutely. I used to not care at all about my menus, and then I decided to actually like practice every single menu, and I saved like 20 seconds or something.
Yeah. And I mean, more than the time save for me, it's just if your menu is fast, the whole experience is way smoother for you and for people watching. So it's just better than like seeing someone press pause and being stuck for 2 seconds.
Then,
like, what am I supposed to do?
Having come from playing the randomizer, there's never a guaranteed menus in that because it's always different every time. So I brought that mentality in and was like, oh, I open the pause menu and then think, what do I need to equip, and then do it. But with the speedrun, it's best to just not have to think about what you're doing, just let muscle memory take over.
Exactly.
Yeah, the worst thing that can happen is something new.
Yeah. And I mean, at least the menu is static in that game. It's not like in the Oracles games or Link's Awakening, where you can put your items wherever you want, which is for some a good thing. For me, it sounds like a nightmare. Like. Very nice bomb drop there, so Fire can gold Cable Flames since he already got the text box. Very nice setup.
Right, yeah.
And we're almost through. So the rupee route is exactly the same as very bad
Oh, P-Hat, please. Yeah, the P-Hat's just will continue to be the best enemy in the game.
Forever. But yeah, as I was saying, rupee route is exactly the same. Maybe slightly different in Cable Flames, because I think what we did back then is, better safe than sorry. So this is a good backup if you are low on health.
I didn't need that heart piece.
The heart piece of shame.
Yeah. You always forget about it, and it's like, oh, I need to come into this cave to heal, and you go for the heart piece, and it's like, oh wait, no, the fairy just get full good. Yeah, the rupee route is the same as what was done in Flipper's skip route. Wirbelhop, we did it a little bit differently because there's a... though there was a lot of different choices you could make in how exactly the rupee route worked at that point. As soon as we got to Wirbelhop, there was one consistent rupee route that everyone did, and it's not changed since.
That's scary, but okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically he's gonna get the red rupee in the pot, I think, and then the rupee in the Rollerbike room just before the first glitch, actually. So kind of a teaser there, in case you don't know that route. And
by the way, the Eslo trigger in the raindrops section is avoidable if you can do a frame perfect roll.
Is that what just happened?
No, Fire walks to it, but the TAS does a roll there.
Right, and if you roll fast enough, is it like the trigger doesn't happen at all?
Oh, you end your roll just before the trigger.
Okay.
Yeah, so the trigger is just far enough away to fit in a roll, but you have to do the roll frame perfectly.
Right, yeah. That what I understood first was way more impressive. Like if you roll fast enough, there's no trigger. Like that's cool.
Yeah, no, the triggers load in with everything else. There's no. Yeah, this game loads everything at the instant the room is loaded. There's nothing that like is loaded off screen and doesn't get loaded until you go to the correct section. There's only one difference, and that's Hyrule Town, because there's too many NPCs walking around for all of them to be loaded at the same time. Right. So they only load what is on screen, and they dynamically load things on and off screen as it comes onto the player's screen. But like that's very special in Town. Every other place it's loads once. when you enter.
This is why in town you can see the postman go down and then see him come from back up again. Like, but
Oh,
that
there
guy
are there are two postmen NPCs running around, but yeah, that's totally a thing as well. Where if there's an enemy entity like NPC slightly off screen, and then you walk onto the screen, they load in for the first time at exactly the spot that they're always supposed to load in.
All right.
Yeah, so you can walk like back and forth and see them like move away and then just like teleport back to the place that they're supposed to like they start from, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I feel like this is something that happens with pretty much every GB/GBA games. Like the everything is loaded at once, but I mean those are on cartridge and they have very little internal memory, so it kind of makes sense that everything is loaded at once. And also because technically there isn't that much to load. I mean, it is still a beautiful game, but it's all pixels. It's not like there's megabytes of data to load each time.
Yeah, it's not like a PlayStation game that's having to have loading screens between levels where it has to load all of the things and have them all ready in the level.
Yeah, that was a pretty interesting bomb behavior.
Yeah, the bombs at the beginning of Cave of Flames are notoriously brutal. There's so many different patterns that they can move in, and some are just straight up, you can't do anything about it. That's fast.
There, Fire grabbed a green rupee, and it's actually something very important for that route. Because drop tables work in a specific way that Myth is going to explain in 1 minute when I'm done talking. But basically, what you want is a specific amount of rupees to be sure that a money later on works.
Yeah, we're going to manipulate a kinstone in Swamp, and when you break any object that has that is supposed to drop a random item, it checks the RNG value and then uses that RNG value to look at a drop table to choose what item it's going to drop. And there's various different drop tables for what kind of items you can drop, and the drop tables change depending on the player conditions. Like if you're on low health, it changes to use a different drop table that has more heart drops in it to be nice to us. So the drop table specifically that we want to use requires us to be not on critical health,
which means more than 1 1/4, right?
Yeah, yes. You can be at 1 1/4, I believe. But you can't be on exactly 1.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, you need to have at least 1 bomb, because if you're on 0 bombs, then it will give you a bomb drop table for more bombs. And you need to have at least 11 rupees.
And I assume more than 0 arrows, but it's not a concern since we get the ball right before, unless you are.
I would be
arrows.
impressed if you could, not have enough arrows. Yeah. But there's, it's one of the reasons why we can't just enter Swamp, immediately save and quit, and then try and do it, because we are at 0 rupees, 0 arrows, because we haven't gone and got the boat yet.
Right, and right now the first glitch is going to happen while Fire got terrible RNG in Cave of Flames for him. What's gonna happen is Fire is gonna drop on a hole and exit with diagonal angle, and he's gonna hold the sword to keep that diagonal angle.
Yeah.
And turns out that if you are with the diagonal angle on your character, you can pull something in a diagonal way, and with the chest in that position, it lines up perfectly to go on the tile that's supposed to make your screen transition, and so it got deleted, more or less. And then we certainly need the key, but you can go through without triggering the screen transition. And there I was silent to be sure he could hear the rolls, because by rolling you can go out of bounds and trigger another screen transition to the right, and the goal there is to get on the bridge. There's a safer way, but fire is not there to do safe strat, it's there to go fast. And if you get into the lava and not on the bridge, you soft lock. Simple of that. So that was very well executed by Fire. I think he did 6+3 or 7+3.
I think that was 7.
Yeah, 7 and 3.
Yeah, 7 and 3,
7
which
and
is
3, yeah.
a very big voice strat, really.
Yeah, yeah, you can tell because you start with a roll into the corner of the doorway to take some of your distance out, but still, like, they were just on the edge of the bottom of the bridge. Because their rolls were so perfect, they actually needed to do slightly worse rolls, but tell Fire Turtle to not do perfect rolls.
And on the next room, there's going to be the second trick of Cave of Flames, and this time I'm going to let Minute explain it.
Yeah, so this, we're also going to be doing diagonal angle retention again to pull this pillar. The game is very weird with how it displaces Link when it grabs onto a object. It's supposed to do a calculation based on Link's facing direction, and that gets very confused when we're doing a diagonal angle retention. So it's a bit too complicated to go into the exact setup for, but we're going to use angle retention to pull this pillar inside the wall. And then do angle retention to grab the pillar, which is going to push us up into the wall, where we get damage boosted by a roller bite that we put into the wall, and that is just enough to push us up onto layer 2 and touch the edge of the screen transition. So we transition into the next room up on layer 2, and we can walk over the top of everything and go directly to the boss. And very importantly, we need to grab a fairy here, because we still are going to be doing flipper skip later.
Exactly, so basically what those two glitches led us to is keep a small key in the first half, I suppose. Like after getting the cane, you're supposed to come back, flip the card and go for a key. We don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And more importantly, we skip all the part of the big room in the center where you get the boss key there.
Yeah, right now we'll be riding the lava platforms around, not even at the gliding section yet. And yeah, it's so slow. This saves so much time out of this dungeon.
They saved a lot. And but the downside of that is that we need a new way to get keystones. We can't really get any keystone in Cave of Flames, and the rupee route has to be changed, but it's not a big deal, because right now Fire already has all the rupees in it, so...
Yeah, we already knew that we could get 2 kingstones in Swamp. Well, if you can get 2, you can get more, right?
Yeah.
So we just get all of them.
And that's the end of the route. So very good run so far, despite the bad energy here and there, especially in the beginning of Cave of Flames, like the bomb room and the Hellmother's room were pretty bad. But still, Fire is gonna get a sub 36. Or barely.
Yay.
Right, he's gonna get to 36 flat, but
How? Why did you lie to me?
because I'm a chronic liar, Fire. You should know it. But yeah, very good run so far. And now, well, the run is gonna be kind of more normal for it until we get inside Fortress of Winds. But I guess until we get inside Castle Wild, it's going to be pretty much the same as the last week, except for some optimization here and there.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing a different manipulation for the Kinstones, but it's still untouched, and we'll be seeing full Swamp and Wind Ruins like we have in all of the previous runs. But yeah, that Cave of Flames was so much faster in comparison to what we've been seeing in the last few weeks. It's I think this run has the shortest time in dungeons versus outside of dungeons in as a ratio.
Oh yeah. Even compared to, well, I guess the next route is it's even worse in a way because you skip some overworld movement.
Yeah, the next route pretty much is all overworld skips.
And yeah, basically we're gonna get more or less the same run as last week until we get to Palace of Wings, because really the two parts where you get some use
oh,
of
let's go.
nice.
Absolute go.
Isn't it frame perfect?
There's about 3 frames you can drop between all of the rolls, I think. I didn't time it exactly, but...
Oh, yeah, so Fire just did...
You don't know how hard it is until you try it.
Yeah. Fire just did 9 rolls and lost less than 3 frames. That's all you need to know.
That's the only thing I want to get.
And you got
Another
it.
one can be shit.
Perfect. I mean, you also need to get cannonless.
No, I'm gonna keep the streak alive. No cannonless.
Right, so how do you feel about that run so far, Fire? Are you satisfied?
I wouldn't say satisfied.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Better on G. Killer Flames was not great.
Well, for us it's a very solid run, but for Fire it's kind of medium tier. This goes to show how these standards are much higher than ours, I suppose. Right, but right now we are headed for the swamp and then the boots quest, which is gonna be pretty much business as usual, so not much to say there.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing the Moblin fight in about a minute. That was a fast minute.
I mean, there's well, I guess the cutscene is after the fight, but overall a good minute, yeah. We'll probably talk more about it next week, but I feel like we are close to enter an era where if we want to have significant time saves with new tricks and glitches, they will have to skip some cutscenes. This game has a lot of cutscenes like this one, which are not super long, but like 30 seconds here, 40 seconds there, and well, all of them tend to add a lot of time all around. I mean, there's only 5 dungeons if you count DHC in that route, but it's still 5 dungeons to go through, and you cannot really expect a sub-hour run except unless you skip a dungeon. But which dungeon could you skip, since you need all 4 elements to trigger the last one? And well, I guess that's 6 dungeons if you count Fortress of Winds, my bad. But and you need the ocarina. It's not something we're gonna skip anytime soon, so really the only way to go much faster is going to be with some major chunks being skipped, and to skip major chunks only cutscenes really.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a we have the NG Plus category, which does all of the dungeons, but you start the game with all of the items, so you can do stuff like Ocarina Glitch in Deepwood Shrine to skip that and make that very quick. Currently, we have a 45-minute run as the doing all of the dungeons with all items. So it's theoretically possible to lower the to a sub-hour run. If we had the items to do so. And a huge amount of the time save does come from skipping cutscenes like this, and the cutscenes in the Sanctuary where we upgrade the sword. The most viable, the most viable time save I think we're going to have would be some way of getting 4 sword early, because then that's the only thing the game checks to load Dark Hyrule Castle is if you've entered Hyrule Castle and you have the Four Sword. That's the only thing the game checks. So if you can get the Four Sword early, you can skip anything up to that point. After that point, and then go directly to Dark Hyrule Castle and finish the game.
Yeah, technically you only need the Four Swords because the cane. The cane? Yeah,
Yes, you need the cane.
The cane, the bow, and one last thing.
You would need the cape to do stuff in Dark Hyrule Castle.
But yeah, well, there's only a couple of items you really need. But
yeah, there's a very small number of items for sure, and it'd be a case they're not that hard to get as well. We could just quickly go to a dungeon to grab the item, then leave.
Oh yeah, that's right. We used to go that way.
Yeah, that's the since Fire is playing on Switch and Wii U have faster saves, so it's faster to save and quit there instead of leaving the intended way. And the fastest path through the town is that path that Fire Turtle ran.
On your NG Plus category, do you go to Fortress of Winds or not at all?
Yes, because it's all dungeons. So we just do it to because it's a dungeon that has to be completed. We classify all the dungeons as anything that has a green warp at the end of it.
Alright.
And Fortress does have a green warp. You just don't see it if you don't have the Ocarina. If you have the Ocarina, there is a green warp there. And because in NG Plus, when we go there, we have the Ocarina already, then the green warp spawns and you just go into it to leave the dungeon. And that's just a built-in thing to the game. That's not any hacks or anything.
Alright, we're about to get the mushroom. And then the boots.
Yeah. So one of the ideas of saving a lot of time as well is this mushroom takes a while to come and get because of that whole gliding section. Link moves pretty slowly when they're gliding. If you could get the mushroom early, and then when you go and talk to the Minish to activate the Boots quest, you can then just give the mushroom straight away. Instead of having to take this minute and a half detour.
And that's it, we got the boots, and now it's time for Castle Wilds, where a bunch of stuff is going to happen. Mostly it's going to be business as usual, but right after getting the bow, Warrior is going to do what we call quad magic. It's not a big deal if you only get 3 out of the 4 kingstones, as the last one is a little inconsistent, even more than the other 3, should I say, because it's always the possibility to do another manip, and especially to get it on armor split that Fire is definitely going to do. Also, I'm pretty sure he's going to do his own trial for that Dark Nut, so just watch and be amazed. And this is super consistent, whether the Dark Nut charges or not, you're always gonna get the same time for it, so pretty precise, not impossible, but
it's certainly tricky for like a beginner, but yeah, those sword slashes are very precise. You're hitting just on the very edge of the sword slash hitbox.
Very good strat. Too difficult for me. I've tried, but yeah. So yeah, right now he's gonna get the bow, and the manip is I believe that was made up by Vlad, and I don't really know how to explain it except saying that you need to perform some very precise movement. You have a few visual cues to know if you are on the right track or not. And for the last one, you can use the fusing bar to know when to release the spin attack, but it's still very damn precise.
Yeah, Black was the first person to discover the like the overall setup for how the strat would work, but everyone in the community came along and made their own slight variations and tweaks and stuff. The original version from Vlad had them, after they get the third kinstone, they go over to the left and do a slash on another bush, and then they walk to the, you know, they walk with the charged spin attack to the same spot to do the same spin attack. But Sparrow came up with the optimization everyone does now, where we walk directly up.
Indeed, yeah. Once you get on the vine, you only hold up and you time your slashes, which is pretty convenient. You only have to focus about one thing, which is, well, when to press sword. Yeah, it was pretty well executed by far. I didn't get the last one, I think it was slightly too early, but as I said, it's not a big deal at all, since you can get a GP from the Armos in Fortress of Winds quite easily, and luckily the order of the Kinstone that you get there is a G square, GP, G arrow, and another GP. So
yeah.
Missing the last one is really no big deal, and it's very minimal time save getting the fourth one compared to getting it from the Armos. It's like, I don't know, 3 seconds maybe. So. And so this is the last time we've fused with those rocks. Kind of spoiling the next routes, but this is the last time we're gonna have to complete the swamp and wind ruins.
Yeah, we managed to cut down the number of fusions quite a lot. And fusions being a cutscene, it's great to be able to skip those, because it's more playing the game and less sitting around watching.
Yeah, exactly. Although the 3 are maybe the fastest fusion in the entire game, it's still some downtime. I'm thinking of the fusion in Hundo where you fuse with the Goron and you have the other Goron that comes in. And
oh, the Goron fusions are so slow.
Yeah, very slow. And I mean, if only you didn't have to tech smash during those, you could.
Yeah.
You could have a break, but.
You always don't know exactly when the text box is going to open up, and you weren't expecting it, and then open up. How quick mesh? It's annoying. Yeah, there's plenty of other like fairly long cutscene in the game. Like in Temple of Droplets, we have the switches that you create clones and push, and it reveals the light. They're pretty long.
Indeed.
And the whole what we do in the flipper skip route as well, where we go and get the magic boomerang, having to have these 4 fusions is
it's quite
not
long.
ideal.
Yeah. If only we could get flipper skip without having to get the magical boomerang, it could be very good. But thing is, to do that, you would need I don't know, like to get to the lantern without doing post-door clipping, which is still not possible right now, as far as I know.
The closest we got was something that was discovered in this era called Lily Clip. Someone was doing a randomizer race, and
very nice
oh, yeah, very nice armor skill there. Someone was doing a randomizer race and accidentally transitioned with the lily pad when they were stood on the very edge of the lily pad, and got pushed slightly by the wall as in the middle of the transition. So neither them nor the lily pad screen transitioned, and it let them stay out of bounds. And then we messed around a bit more, and it didn't fit into the any % route, unfortunately. But it was another method of getting out of bounds in Temple of Droplets.
Yeah. The key point being that you need the flippers to do anything with the lily pads in droplets. So.
But there is a lily pad in Deepwood Shrine, and we can do lily flip in Deepwood Shrine to get out of bounds, but it's not faster than just riding the lily pad around.
First out of the game, 53 minutes in.
Oh wow! I'm surprised you didn't get one in Glee Rock.
Yeah.
You were cutting, you were slashing the fire, but it wasn't dropping any.
It just didn't happen indeed.
Yeah, we won't be getting the heart container at the end of this dungeon, so you do need to be a bit careful about how much health you have. You don't want too much because you would have to lose it all. Oh, well, very nice.
Nice manip.
Manip would have been GP.
Alright, now we got the mermaids, and just like last week, what's going to happen is Fire's gonna do a manip to get armor's clip, then extend it a little bit to get a GP, which is simply by using the boots, because the boots roll RNG a lot and killing it.
I got confused already.
Well, we're gonna stay quiet so you can focus. Perfect, so if I didn't get any extra spark, you use the boots to roll the RNG. And now it's gonna do Polar
Left side.
Left side, that's old school.
It's not slow, you have to wait for the bomb anyway.
That's true.
Like I learned this trick when we were doing it on the left side.
Yeah. Back in the day, before Armor's clip, it didn't matter which side. I mean, it still doesn't exactly matter which side, but nowadays everyone does it on the right-hand side.
Let's click through the hand. So Mazal, as usual, the pillars can be any position, just not twice in a row at the same spot. And the second and third cycle, there's going to be a bunch of sand hiding where the real eye is. So it's all a matter of remembering where it was and being likely to get it fast enough. Do the RNG so far. And then for the third cycle, he has to decide go left or right. Some say it depends on your political inclination. But,
actually, the right-hand side is more optimal by like 0.005 of a percent. There's a rounding error with the formula.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's so negligible that it's not even worth like trying. But yeah,
just to prove you wrong, Fire went left and he was right to do so. Right, so now Fire's gonna get the Ocarina as the most powerful item in the game, and that's going to be a low 57, so very good time so far.
Yeah.
so now, what's going to happen is just like last week, Fire's gonna do a bunch of fusions, get the magical boomerang, and then enter Temple of Droplets without the flippers.
Yeah, they made sure to grab that green, the green GP kinstone from the Armos manipulation in the last dungeon, but also grab a red kinstone so that we can still do our skip to Palace of Winds later in the run.
Yep. So during this part where not much happens, what could we talk about that run? Maybe, I don't know. I feel like this era is the era where the community was very active in terms of runs being performed. Maybe yeah, like the next routes were as well, but I feel like this one was very unique in a way. I don't know how you feel about that, me.
Yeah, the people were doing regular races that were even restreams on the ZSR because it was just so consistent in, you know, you could do a run and finish, and because you're not getting your run killed by a extremely difficult trick.
And also, as we said earlier, the route was very accessible. As at least there's only two very difficult tricks being portal items, and like as OG, all the rest is more or less, or maybe not easy, but you're gonna lose some time, but you're not gonna lose a minute to a trick, probably. So it was very nice to get into the game and to decide to do some runs, as you said, like do some races out of nowhere, or even schedule some, which is definitely something that was lost with Piatko.
Yeah, there's this is the route that I learned the game on, and yeah, it's very much just a quick process of, as a beginner, learning all of the things that you need to be able to finish a run. It didn't take me like longer than a week from starting my first ever run to getting like a 150. And all of the rest of the time save literally just comes from optimization and improving. There's no more extra like learning exactly. Maybe you'd learn
melee,
or yeah,
and so on.
There's like small tricks that save 10 seconds that you would add in. But really, it's just there's not like there's not something like Octoclip nowadays where people are like, oh, I don't have a good time, but I'm going to do Octoclip because it saves 3 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, in a way, it's the fact that the 20% route becomes shorter and shorter. If we remember right, I think it was 207 for the first route for Legacy, and now we're already down to a 142 estimate. In a way, it makes the game more easily approachable by people who don't want to run a long category or are afraid that there's a lot to learn. And technically there is less to learn, just some tricks you need to spend more time. And the disparity, or can't really find the right word, but the fact that it's shorter but also longer because you have more difficult stuff that you must learn and you must master can become a deterrent at some point. So I feel like with that route we are right in the middle. It's not too much to learn, it's easy to get into, you can still challenge yourself and optimize, but more than that, and it becomes harder to get into it again. And that's pretty much what happened, in my opinion, with the new tricks. Ooh,
oh,
Eslo.
Okay. We're gonna see an Eslo buff. Oh, no. Yeah, we are seeing Eslo buffering.
Very nice. Right, so Myth, can you explain how Ezlo Buffer works?
So how Fire set that strat up is they rolled into the doorway just to make sure that they were right. They were on the correct starting pixel because Link has a random chance to walk into a wall depending on what their subpixel value is. The subpixels vary in quantities of 4 when it comes to Link's walking. So a quarter of the time Link will walk into a wall and 75% of the time they won't. But if you do a roll, you can kind of like almost guaranteeably clip into the wall and be on the correct spot. So they made sure that they're right on the correct pixel position. And then they placed a bomb and they started pausing to check the bomb sprite to wait for the correct timing. And when the bomb got to a good position, a good timing on it, then they start doing an Ezlo buffer. Ezlo buffering, you just hold the select button down, and then Ezlo will talk to you. When you close the text box, Ezlo will then immediately talk to you again, exactly 2 frames after, and so the game will run for exactly 2 frames.
That
and
guy is a pain in the
This
ass.
guy hates you. Wow.
Twice.
Holy shit.
So,
But yeah, so Ezlo Trigger will talk to you every 2 frames.
yeah, so we, Fire Turtle's making sure that the bomb was on, they were pausing to make sure that the bomb frames were on an, we call them an even and an odd pattern, but if you're on the even pattern, then you'll land correctly because it will advance by 2 every single time. But if you're on the odd pattern, you're going to miss it by 1 frame, so you need to pause buffer to try and not be on that pattern anymore.
Yeah.
But then when you're on the correct pattern, you just keep Ezlo buffering until the bomb is about to explode, and then or has the right pixel, and then you just release and hold up, and then it times perfectly so that you die as the door opens on the same frame.
Yeah, so it's an alternative to the setup with the boots and the bow. This one is faster, but I want to say it's more technical. You don't need to know anything.
I timed it, and it was faster if you could get it into Ezlo buffers with no other pauses. So it's pretty much TAS only.
Yeah.
It's technically faster, but not really. In most situations, you're going to be slower.
But then when you do the setup with the boots and bomb, you need to be able to press 2 buttons at the same time, which is not that easy. I'm not saying that like judging or something. It's not always a guarantee, really. Also, I love that boomerang strat. Unfortunately, that guy decided to not cooperate.
He turned his head like an owl to make sure that you didn't stun him.
Yeah. All heart. We get those. Alright, and starting now, well, not starting now, but it's gonna be the same as the last few weeks. We're just gonna push 2 levels and then fight Octo, but this time with Octomali. Which Fire is gonna get, obviously.
Right. So, there's we're changing the dungeon order around. Here in the previous run, we would go directly to the Blue Chew fight, and then do a save and quit, ride the Blue Warp, and then do the section that Fire Turtle's about to do now. But if we change the order around, go this way, we can go and activate the second switch. And then from the second switch, we can go to Blue Chew and get the lantern. And then from the lantern, when we do the save and quit, we can use that save and quit to set up Octo Minute.
Yeah, since we need to do a save and quit for the manip anyway, might as well change the order and take advantage of the one at Blue Chew.
It's one of the big reasons why. Well, it's one of the big reasons why we do the Swampkin Stone manipulation, because it's always faster to leave after we get the bow by doing a save and quit. So if we're doing a save and quit, we might as well do a manipulation as well. Again, another one of the reasons why we do Armos, a manipulation at Armos clip again, is because the fastest way to get back from the mids is to do a save and quit. Yeah. So we're just always choosing. We could theoretically do any of these strats anywhere in the whole game. By doing a save and quit and then doing a manipulation, but it's just slower to take time out with a run to do an extra save and quit, and we should just incorporate these strats into
them at the right moment, indeed.
Yeah.
Alright, so while Fire is on his way to go fight Bluchu, maybe we can be a little bit early and talk about how Octomanip is going to work. So basically, we need to do the 7 quit after Bluchu, of course, but then at the beginning we have 7 frames to start using the boots downwards, which is not too bad, honestly. And then the first 2 cycles are always the same.
Frames?
Yes, I think so. The first 2 cycles are always the same, but this time we're going to use the shield instead of the sword, because every time you use the sword you run RNG by 1 cool, and sometimes you can miss a rock, and this manip is already super precise. You don't want any leeway in what can happen, so quit the shield and everything is easier and more consistent. And then for the first and second cycle you want to lure Octo on the top left corner. It's very important that you don't get sucked in and you don't miss any rock, and you light his tail on fire quickly enough, because I'm not sure exactly what happens, but let's just say that RNG rolls a lot during those sections.
Yeah.
And on the third pattern, the thing is, even if you do everything perfectly, there's always some leeway that's gonna happen, mostly during the tail on fire and luring Octo on the top left, because he's never gonna throw his rock exactly at the same time. And so you need to adapt at the end. Luckily, at the end of the second cycle, rocks will fall from the roof, and you can look at those patterns and see, or at least assume, what RNG seed, energy value you are, and adapt by doing either nothing or a few rolls, since rolling rolls the RNG. That's basically how it works. I don't know if I forgot anything.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's a lot of technical, like, stuff that goes into, like, exactly how Octo works. You know, what are the parts of it that change RNG? That's all really technical stuff. I've done a bit of a write-up about it before. And you need to know some of these things to make sure that the manipulation is consistent. But ideally, if you just do the same thing every time and repeat it and know a few patterns at the end, you're going to be getting
most of the time
zero ink, like 90% of the time.
Which was quite a revolution when it came in, because like finally you can not coin flip on Octo.
Yeah, zero ink is no longer 25% chance, it's now over 90%, so it's not your world records and your PBs aren't being decided by how lucky Octo is.
So everything that Fire does is pretty much pre-calculated, I want to say. That movement is always the same.
Yeah, the important thing is always getting to the right position as soon as Octo's about to start moving, because the amount they rotate will change RNG a different amount.
And now that's the time where Fire has to look as the rock patterns.
And everyone who runs the game will universally agree that was a 3-roll.
I don't remember, honestly, so...
Oh, you don't?
No, yeah, it's been so long, but yeah. The 3 rolls and then 0 ink and perfect, very good Fire.
Yeah, and they did a special... Sorry.
Oh yeah, I end up in the middle.
Yes, they did. They did an optimization at the end to. You can either sit in the corner and let the 3 rocks attack, but Octo's locked into those 3 rolls, so you can get them to fire the first rock, but then like move so that it fires. Continues to fire the rocks at you as you're moving to the middle of the arena, and then you don't get a. If you're not in the middle, Link walks very slowly to the middle, and it can lose like 5 to 8 seconds.
Yeah. Alright, and now, despite the king telling us, "Hey Link, I died earlier when Vaidi touched me inappropriately, so come see me in the graveyard." We actually
have
gonna go
never gone to see the king.
Yeah, like in not any route. Maybe one day, for some reason, it's gonna be something we do, but only in Glitchless and Hendo we go there. I mean, even in Hendo, we don't go there in the right order, I think, so...
Yeah, it'll be something like we find out that you can do some, like, bit war or, like, item manipulation, but it requires Kinstone fusions, and the only one with the correct value to work is the Kinstone we get from the king. That would be a weird
stuff,
world to live in.
So I don't think that's really gonna happen. So if you want to see these, either play the randomizer or run Glitchless, really.
Yeah. Glitchless is a good category, though.
I disagree firmly.
When any percent goes really bad, you go to Glitchless because it's still fun. It doesn't change.
I did 2 runs and I got grabbed mid-air by a floor master in DHC. That's how Glitchless is busted. But anyway, back to good old any percent. So right now, Farah's gonna get 2 Palace of Winds the good old way. But it's gonna be quite a faster Palace of Winds because of Wirbelhop again, angle retention.
Yeah.
Before we needed to go to an extra room to do a Cutino G to not have to go through the room that has bracelets. But if you remember correctly, just before that room there's a hole in which you have to use a cane to get up and yada yada. It turns out that you can use that hole to get out of bounds, or rather get to layer 2. And that's simply using a good old mathematician we like to call Pythagoras in English or something. But the idea that if you have the diagonal angle, you're not gonna go as far as if you had a straight angle, and so you get on the second layer instead of getting on you get on the second layer but not on the spot you're supposed to be. It will be simple once you see it.
Because of the diagonal facing value, when it calculates it, it tries to do both we're doing diagonal angle retention facing down right. So it calculates Wirbelhop or just a regular cane jump to the right and down simultaneously, and just straight up adds them, and it doesn't do a Pythagoras like
Very
square
nice
and then add and a square root. It literally just adds them together. So we get we go to the diagonal corner of if you just like extend out from both sides. It does exactly the same like checks of are you allowed to do this, and it just so happens that the spot we can do it here in Palace is there's a missing block on one of the tiles that it checks has to be a free tile for you to jump up.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely beautiful that it worked out like that. It was literally one block away from not being possible. We almost didn't get bracelets for free.
Yeah, I also feel like the fact that you go diagonally out of the hole is kind of an oversight. Like it's something the devs didn't really think about, and we're just like, yeah, we're just gonna take the position he's facing and throw him there. But lucky for us.
Yeah, it was definitely an oversight.
Very nice strat, and also 8 green rupees. I think like that's a jackpot in my book. Well, yeah, you were saying definitely an oversight.
Oh yeah, angle retention is an oversight. Link and most NPCs do have 2 different data values which are representing like facing direction or like some kind of direction. There's like 2 or 3 different values that can be used depending on the level of accuracy that you want. You can either have 4 for just up, down, left, right, or you can have 8 for diagonals included, or you can have 32 for more precision in between, or you can have like 65,000 or whatever it is for like full precision. And the oversight is that they Link's facing direction is only ever supposed to be 4, and it's supposed to when you're selecting that value when you jump out of a hole, the formula for it uses the value that has 8 different ones, where it's not supposed to. So it gets, and then the wrong value gets written to the thing, and then things get really weird from that point. So yeah, we're getting a diagonal.
This is the best
jump
setup.
hole. Yeah, very nice.
So you can just get there and that's Moki.
As soon as this Wirbelhop was discovered, this began the golden era of Palace, where it became not the worst dungeon in the run, but became the best dungeon in the run. It wasn't absolutely perfect in this. We still have a little bit of like some down sections, but this was the beginning of the rise of Palace to where it is today, where it's just the most fun dungeon.
Very, not very easy, but also tricks that you have to do in it are pretty straightforward and not too bad. It can be kind of a pain if you want to go very fast, especially the one we're gonna see next week, where you need to adjust a little bit. But yeah, definitely has become more of a breeze than it used to be.
I for one love Palace of Wind glitchless.
Yeah. Oh, glitchless.
Oh yeah.
That might be the only one.
It's really hard for sure. That's the IL that I'm doing at the moment is Palace glitchless. I'm trying to get a sub 11. I've got an 11:08, I think. But I've had a few runs that were on pace for sub 11 and died to the very end.
Yeah, if you zoom in on the video, you can see Fire tearing up because he's not playing this glitchless, and he's keeping the best part of the dungeon. That being said, something that we can note is that in this room, Fire didn't even try to go for cutting OG.
Yeah.
Technically, you could do it. I think it's faster, but to do that, you would need to commit and not grab the small key as he did earlier. And if you get it, that's cool, and you save 14 seconds if you get the cutscene OG, but if you don't, you lose 26. So,
yeah, it's really risky. It was so risky that no one really attempted it in actual runs. It was just a theoretical time save.
Yeah. And then, I mean, at the end of the process skip route, what everybody looked for in the run was consistency. So everybody would rather get a consistent run where you technically lose 14 seconds over the optimal risky strat over while getting screwed most of the time. And I feel like that's something that is bound to happen again on the next major route we get in Minish Cap after Octoclip.
I didn't show last week in the bracelet skip route, but there is a route difference that you can do where we did the bracelet skip to go out to another part of the dungeon to grab a small key out of order. You could slightly extend that to get 2 small keys, so you can skip the cutscene OG. But we never saw anyone go for that because everyone wanted to just do the hardest trick.
Yeah.
If that saves the most time, because might as well. If you can save 30 seconds.
But yeah, as I was saying, I feel like the next route after Octoclip might be kind of like Wirbelhop, where people are longing for a new route, super consistent with no, I'm not gonna say no art trick, but no frame or double frame perfect trick where you only get one chance. You don't have only one chance at Octoclip, but it takes like a minute to try again each time. So
it's effectively one chance when you've got to the point where your PB is it's less than a minute of time save. The Wirbelhop, Octoclip is very comparable with Bracelet Skip in
many ways.
that. So I agree. I predict that the next route will be something that makes Octoclip obsolete.
Hopefully, at least. But yeah, that's what everyone is really waiting for, I feel like.
There's a lot of ideas. There's a lot of things that we've got many ideas. Like if you could get to flippers quicker, that would just straight up eliminate the need for Octoclip.
So we just need to find a way to clip into the flipper cave. That's it.
So there's this item called the Fire Rodder.
Let's not delve into that now.
I'm only bringing it up because there's I came up with a theoretical route which gets us from the Minish Cap Lake through some wild screen warps to the Librari's room where we can fall down and get the flippers. And it takes like 20 seconds.
Alright, and now Fire only has a DHC to complete. So let's see. What pace is Fire on exactly? I don't know, but I feel like he's on good pace.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't have a timer.
Yeah. Just assume that you can PB.
I assume it's 142 pace at least.
Yeah, well, that I'm sure. And now in DHC we are not gonna get anything new really. The only novelty is going to be in next week route, but for now, just as usual, we're gonna get, well, kind of the escape at the beginning, then grabbing some small keys, and at the end the gauntlet with the Dark Nerd variety manip. So first thing first, Fire is gonna do cutscene walking, where the idea is to get interrupted, or the freezing state of Link interrupted either by Ezlo talking or the NPC talking. There, Ezlo talked. And the Minister, and finally the last one. Perfect. And this is the last time we're gonna do this Ocarina glitch. Because in the new routes, this section is skipped. So
yeah.
More info next week. There is, if I get the right subpixel, he can just roll out, and he got it. Very nice. Pretty much a skill thing. Definitely not a 50-50 luck.
Up to this run, the Dark Coral Castle route hasn't changed at all since Legacy.
The beginning
Legacy
of
did the
times.
same. Yeah, beginning of time. All the way back to Greener Link's dungeon route from 2008. It was this.
Go Fire God Gunnerless. And also, I have kind of my even stat right there. The only no ink we got was Manipped out of 5 runs.
Yes. It's pretty unlucky, but
Yeah.
We got two inks, didn't we?
Yeah,
It
we
was-
got
it
1
happened
ink, 2
twice.
ink, 1 ink, and 2 inks.
Oh, oh. Well, we should be getting 0 ink from this point on.
Yeah, that's what is more or less expected. And that's kind of the, like, if we had some data about all the auto fights ever, we would see a drastic drop in the time spent on that boss after May 2019. Slightly too high. Right, that's 2 now. Only 2 more keys and 2 more OGs. Also, I think recently Fire got the infamous Ghost Boost on a run.
Really?
Didn't. No.
You did not,
What? Did Nitro troll you?
of course. That's what he always does. But he's
I wish I
definitely,
had got it.
definitely gonna get it on that run, I believe.
Yes, you have to show us the it now.
Darky let us all down by not remaking that crucial moment of Minish Cap history. But someone has to.
I have. I showed it at the Racing Glitch exhibition on the GDQ channel. There is a window of various different frames that you can get it. I think it was about 6 frames, but if you get it on the first frame, you get the fastest launch, which is what Darky got. I looked at the speed that they got from it, and it was so fast. Yeah, it had to have been a max speed, so it was frame perfect. Some other people have got it with a slightly slower version where they hopped a little bit but not the full distance.
Yeah, and I think it's more about hopping earlier than faster most of the case when you get the boost.
It's you get the roll to you get grabbed by the genie on the last frame of your roll, because the last frame of your roll you're moving about 3.5 times walking speed, which is even faster than boot dashing. It's that fast. A boot dash is 3 times walking speed.
Perfect Stunlock and another green rookie. Definitely. This cutscene is super long as well, like, but I don't think you can really do anything about it.
There is a skip.
Yeah, but the cutscene, ooh, very nice. Really
That
nice.
is a great fight. Wow.
Yeah.
That is what everyone hopes for.
But
3
never
slashes, 3
happens.
kills. That's it. Both of them killed. But, yeah, Tompa showed that the task can save 3 seconds by skipping that cutscene, but it requires 2 frame perfect tricks. It requires a cutscene OG and then a frame perfect pause after you cancel the OG that you get.
Yeah, so nobody wants that really.
I did do it, RTA, when I was recording it for a demonstration. but it's not feasible in runs, and it's not worth because
Yeah,
it saves
definitely.
3 seconds.
And loses, I don't know, a bunch. Well,
It would probably
you soft lock, right?
it would lose 8 seconds. Well, it depends which one you. No, I think it loses about 8 to 10 seconds if you fail it.
Alright, and now it's time for the minute. So Farah's probably gonna extend the Dark Nuts until Variety 1 at least, or try. It's quite challenging. So let's wish him luck. Perfect.
Yeah, so this is a slight variation of Flax Minute. Everyone pretty much bases their manipulation off of Flax and then does slight optimizations to make it specific for them in ways that they know that they can do it optimally and like consistently. Yeah, it's a thing loads of community members have all worked together on. We've had Sparrow and Semi come up with variations to the end of the Vati 1 minute.
Yeah, when I was grinding for my 139 Sparrow, I spent a lot of time benchmarking, I suppose. Some Variety 1 and Variety 2 backups and slight alteration. Very well so far.
Yeah.
Perfect. Very
Yeah,
good.
this has been really
not perfect.
Yeah, you missed,
Yeah, at the
missed
end,
the
but
slash.
Yeah,
But-
the slash.
That's a really interesting fight. I've never seen this manipulation done before.
Because it's slow. I don't think anyone wants to do it.
I'd like to have a recorded copy of it.
Oh, it's Strategix Navilin's mana.
Oh, is it? Okay.
it was very sketchy, but it worked. That's a down fast V2.
All depends on what happens now.
It's gonna be fine.
Please be nice. There we go.
You just let him go and... There we go.
Very nice.
Alright, that's good.
Yeah.
Pretty good so far. And now Variety 3. I just hope Fire's gonna do the best trick on Variety 3, which is portal items to get the arms faster.
So this is a very good pace. I don't know if you want to know what pace you're on.
Nah, just don't say it.
Okay, I won't say it.
So just for the record, what's Fire PB?
It's a 1906.
3906.
Oh, sorry, 3906.
So yeah, Variety 3, so basically the main question is, will Fire use the Boom Boom on struts for the arm or not? It's technically slower, but it's safer to use the boomerang basically.
Patty 3 is one of those fights that you don't try and save time on, you try and not lose time on.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice arm. You always want the inside, the one closest to the middle of the arena. What? It's like a frame perfect cane fire to not hit.
Alright, first arm is done. Standing on this portal, you are invincible. So pretty fast second arm as well.
Oh, just a little bit too fast.
At least you tried, and I'm very, very happy you did.
Yeah.
I was doing Dark Horror Castle ILs earlier this week, and I was using a visual cue during the animation of it putting its arm in the ground to know when to start trying to do the Wirbelhop. Sorry, the portal items.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you use a visual cue, it becomes quite consistent.
Alright, no electric, that's pretty good.
This is great.
Nah, all that's left is to
Yeah.
do ping-pong 3 times.
And the quick movement from Veti is very nice as well.
Yeah. I'm
They
gonna go ahead and tell you to not do the bomb kill fire.
yeah, don't.
Should I do food portal items?
Nah, I think you should just use the sword.
Okay. Oh.
And that's it. 138.57. That's a PB from Fire on the 138 on that round.
138.
Very good run.
Nice.
Despite all the bad RNG in People Shrine and in Cave of Flames, Fire actually managed to push back and get a PB.
I was watching your PB synced up with the timer, and yeah, you were like 15 seconds ahead at exiting Veti 2.
Really nice.
Oh, congratulations, Fire. At least we might have a Gaffrethon run on the leaderboard for a bit. Maybe not, honestly. Fire has said that...
I wasn't recording, so...
Oh, but I am, so I can give you the voice. But the point being that Fire is probably gonna come back and do some Octoclip runs, so he will beat that by a huge margin very soon.
I mean, this is still a valid Wirbelhop run.
Yeah, very, very good run.
Oh, you bopped Darky by a second.
Even that.
I thought I tied somebody.
I would have to double check the timing on it if it's not a tie, but I think you beat them by a second. They had a 38.58, so...
Alright, so very good run.
Really nice.
Oh, Darky also had that run during a French Zelda-thon event. So...
Of course. Was it the... was it the three-way race?
It was that one.
That race was amazing because actually it was Spyra, myself and Darky, and we lied to the organizers, so they switched our names without them knowing, and basically we were playing for each other, and they didn't notice until the very end, which is kind of funny because one of the commentators was Le Grand, which is a TMC runner, so he should have noticed that, hey, that guy usually plays on Wii U, but he's playing on Emu right now, and that kind of stuff. But yeah, that was a very, very fun race. Alright, the credit song is very good, but let's mute the game and go back on the interview to finish. So if you could just mute the game, Fire. Perfect, thank you. So, overall, very nice run. I mean, you did get a PB, and Myth is gonna tell us in a few minutes what ranking it would have been. But first, how do you feel about that, Fire?
Well, I did get that fairy on
Chrono.
On Mount Chrono. I did reset the mana bronze
Armor's Clip.
Armor's Clip.
But I
But
really imagine
overall, I
if you were
guess I
playing.
was playing solid. I got some pretty good RNG
Mhm.
overall, I think, except for an early game.
Yeah,
So yeah, pretty solid.
very solid. Do you think you could do a run back and beat it again?
Um, maybe. I think I
Maybe.
could. I
Ooh.
think I could get a 37 if I really like grind.
Yeah, but well, you won't, and you won't have to since you can get a bit better time with a better route now. So
Yeah, I don't think I have to.
yeah. So what ranking would that run be if it was back in the days?
So it would be third place.
Third
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, because I mean you are currently the fourth place holder in for this route. We'll start from the top. Vlak has is in first place. They have got a 137.38. I believe they had no that there's only ever been one 137 run.
Yeah.
Which was the run that they set. Their previous time before that was like a mid 138.
Mhm.
I think it was 138.30 exactly, in fact. And yeah, they beat it by such a huge margin and never improved it again. Toads is in second place with a. This run happened, but it isn't on the leaderboard because no VOD of it still exists. They have the VOD for it, but they got a 138.05. But the second place run with a actual recording is a 138.26 from Toads. And then there's this run that you've just done, which is valid, and it's 130.38 57. Darky has a 138.58, who was in third place at the time, and then there's you in fourth, who was in fourth place with a 139.06. And then in fifth place was PK with a 139.33. It was a very, very worthwhile run after a year of grinding that.
Yeah, quite some time. But yeah, and then I think how many sub 140 was there back then? Because that was kind of a good margin to see who was solid at the game.
You were the only other person with a sub
Oh, really?
140. So there was those, 5 people. The only people with 140s were 2 people, Semi and PPL.
Right. Yeah.
And then eventually I got, no one had a 141. And then I had a 142. And Quo also had a 142.
Yeah. All right. Well, what we are going to see next week is how the leaderboard got kind of changed a lot because two things. First, a new route, but also some old, very good runner like Fire or Darky didn't really play the new route, so their spot was free for the taking, kind of, and.
Oh, very quickly with the world record, how it sat for the Wirbelhop route, how it advanced was on the day that like Wirbelhop was discovered. You set a 143.
Yeah.
And Toads had a 142. And then they quickly improved that to a 139. No, sorry, they got 140 the day after, and then they got a 139. And Vlak, when they started learning the game, started learning with the Wirbelhop, they tied Toad's world record of a 139.36, which is also a time that Fire you've also have set a 139.36 before. So there's 3 people who happen to have a time that was a tied world record at one point, but that I believe is the last time that the world record was tied. Was in this period in August of 2019. Vlak then very quickly over the next couple of weeks managed to improve the world record down to the 137.38. That's how the world record progressed through that period. They set it in August of 2019, and it stayed there for about 2 years.
Yeah, for quite a bit. The thing is, um, a lot of the record from the era of like set them in with process key, but especially with Wirbelhop and later got set by people who were actively grinding the game, and by grinding what I mean, they were really running a lot and well, basically doing it as a full-time job or close to. So yeah, something that we still see on the new west route. So do you have any, not last words this time, I'm gonna be careful, but any additional words or shoutouts that you want to share with us, Fire?
Shoutouts to PK. He's
Oh,
great.
thank you.
I love him.
Oh, I love you too, Fire.
Oh, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, and shoutouts to, I think it's Kirby on your background. He doesn't look
Yeah.
look so good. I feel like
It's kind of smushed.
yeah, he's ready for the winter, definitely. All right, so next week we're going to see the PH route. A lot of changes for that route, and it might be on Sunday, it might be on Saturday. We will keep you posted on the Twitter and on the Minish Cap Discord. So if you want to follow that route, stay tuned, and yeah, we'll see you next week.